Internet, Eric here. Taking a break from Elm Street for a little bit, and we're going back to Crystal Lake. I have finally made it to the end of my Friday the 13th film retrospective series, not counting crossovers and remakes. So tonight, whenever you decide to watch this, we're talking Jason X. X as in, yes, it is the 10th film in the Friday the 13th series. Now, the DVD says copyright 2002. I always thought it was 2001, so obviously I'll have the year down at the bottom, or in the video description, what have you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, and regarding the Friday the 13th Jason movies, they're known for the creative kills, so I'll probably talk about them as well, so watch at your own risk. Basic plot is we start out in the near future. No date is given. And Jason is at the Crystal Lake Research Facility. And they're going to cryogenically freeze him. Because we find out in a conversation later that they tried to execute him and it just doesn't stick. They've tried firing squad. They've tried gas chamber, I think. Hanging. This and that. And the government, led by David Cronenberg of all people, mentions that they're transferring him to another facility because they bring up the fact that he can regenerate damaged tissue. Well, shit hits the fan. Jason escapes, kills everybody except for Rowan. Rowan is the head of the research facility, played by... her name's not here, but I'm going to butcher her name. Lexia Donig? I don't know. Rowan. She's the only survivor. She manages to get Jason in the cryogenic room, and she pulls the lever, or hits the button, whatever have you. I just stuttered that twice. Jason starts to freeze. Right before he's able to do that, he takes his machete, stabs through the metal door, sticks Rowan with it, pulls the knife out, she falls down, and that little slice through the door is allowing the rest of the cryogenic gas to freeze her as well. Then we go roughly, I'll just say 500 years into the future. I don't fucking know. And it's the year 2455. Earth is a wasteland. We have a group of students from Earth 2 on a routine research mission or something for their class. They come down to the Crystal Lake facility. They find the two bodies. They bring them back on board. Both are thawed out, and the rest of it is basically Jason stalking this group while also taking on some space marines. Okay, now, I was initially dreading this because when I do these reviews, I like to rewatch the film before I talk about it because it just gets it fresh in my mind. I might remember stuff that I didn't think I would talk about, and I don't remember really liking Jason X. I remember a lot of cheesiness, which I will go into. Cheesiness, some bad lines, some bad puns, bad special effects. But you know what? Maybe because it's been 2 or 3 years since I watched it, I actually had a fun time with this. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because it's been so damn long. We'll get to it. Kane Hodder's great as Jason again. He's great being the menacing, heavy-breathing, rage-filled Jason. There's a reason why a lot of fans like him the most, because he's just so damn good. I like the look of Jason. You can't really see it very well, but typical hockey mask, what have you. Jason's great. His kills are really good, which I'll get to. The lead girl, the final girl, Rowan, really likable, easy on the eyes, and she's not just a damsel in distress. I think that since they're in space, they kind of want to make her like a Ellen Ripley character from Aliens. She's not badass like Ripley, but She holds her own. She uses weaponry against Jason. She's not necessarily afraid of him. She goes after him in the present with shotguns. She goes after him in the future with a BFG, which I think is a Doom reference. I think it stands for big fucking gun. And what have you. Really likable. I liked her a lot. The rest of the people, well, a lot of them are just fodder for Jason. Some of them you don't care about. Some of them are kind of annoying. Then you have, I'm going to talk about 3 characters. Suriname, who is the male lead. That's not the black guy. Okay, he sucks. The actor who plays him is horrible. He can't act to save his way, save his life. He is, well, I guess I'm going to talk about 4 characters. He is the brains of the students, I guess. He created a android named KM, and she's lifelike, this and that, what have you. And the reason why I don't like his character, other than the fact that his acting sucks, is they have to pull this I'm in love with my creation garbage. KM is fine. I like KM a lot. The actress who plays her, don't know off the top of my head. She's fun. I like how she acts so, she doesn't act robotic like, Arnold did as the Terminator or anything like that. She doesn't really, she has some emotions. I like that a lot. I like her delivery. She's very likable. And just some of the choices she does. I love how all the students are running away from Jason, and then she's just slowly following them behind, pushing the button to close the door like it's nothing. Great performances. She wants to be human. She wants to be like Janessa, who I'll get to. And there's some dopey scenes between her and her creator, Sornan. She wants to have breasts with nipples, so he tries to put the nipples on, and the nipples fall off. It's an attempt at humor, which I think is retarded. Bad. Anything between the two of them is bad. There's another scene where Jason's attacking, and then she does the whole, like, C-3PO, your probability of survival is 12%, and then he does his bad acting and emoting, saying it's bullshit, and then he kisses her, and then she says, oh, it's raised to 57%, and he says, how about, let's go for 100. So they fuck off screen, and then as Jason's about ready to kill Rowan, Waylander, black guy, and Janessa, he's not in this picture. Shithead Sornan comes in. He's acting all tough, because I just got laid with a robot. And he's like, hey, Slappy. He literally yells, hey, Slappy to Jason, because he's trying to act tough. And KM comes out looking all badass now, and she's got these fucking guns. And in a cool scene, she shoots the shit and kicks the shit out of Jason, and it's really entertaining, other than a couple of camera angle choices I don't like. And there's some scenes where she does cartwheels and kicks Jason. You can tell it's just the film sped up. But overall, once she becomes badass, she's more likable. She's cool. She you're like, wow, this chick is blowing the shit out of Jason. I mean, she knocks off his arm and his leg, parts of his guts, and eventually blows his fucking head up. So, Sornan sucks. Overall, KM is really good. And then there's some more shitty dialogue between the two of them. So, Rowan's good. We got Sornan, who sucks. KM's pretty good. We got Janessa. Janessa is the bitch, and she's not like the bitch in Friday the 13th Part 7, Melissa, who you hate her so much you can't wait till she gets it. This is the bitch, the snooty one with, the horrible comments that you just want her to die just so she'll get off on screen. She's full of nothing but puns, like her death. One of the worst deaths in the movie. Jason punches through the hull of the ship, and of course everything's getting sucked out, and she's holding onto the grate, and she says, this sucks on so many levels. Another bad pun. She gets sucked out. First off, the grate, part of the grate goes over the hole. So you know, okay, she's going to get sucked out. She's going to squeeze through that grate. Well, it happens off screen, and then it's quick. It's like nothing, and you just see this slime or fake flesh go through. Really bad. And you're not sad that she's dead. You're glad she's gone so you don't have to hear her talk. She's not likable at all. But then we have Brodsky. Brodsky's the leader of the Marines, the Space Marines, basically aliens, from Aliens. He would be like Hicks from Aliens. And he's the only likable character, the only memorable character from that whole fucking group. He's cool. He's a badass. His lines aren't overly cheesy. He takes it from Jason. He gives it to Jason. He's great. I love the Brodsky characters. And like I said, the rest of the characters, no one gives a shit about. They're just there to be killed and be Marines. Whatever. The deaths, a lot of them are really good. I forgot how much I liked some of these deaths. Best death is when the scientist, the hot blonde, Jason wakes up, grabs her from behind, drags her to like this cryogenically freezing, it's filled with liquid nitrogen or whatever the fuck it is. Throws her face in that. You see this great shot of her screaming, and suddenly her face freezes. Jason pulls her out, and then slams her face on the table, lifts it up, and you see like it's all half of her face is gone, and it's red, and it's just slush, and he just throws her on the ground. I mentioned that in my horror fiend tag, how it's one of my favorite horror movie kills. There's a lot of good stuff. I like when, granted, he just stabs one dude, but the blood from the dude getting stabbed squirts out onto the girl's face that he just got done banging, and then he turns around to look at her like he's going to do the, reach out for her, and Jason grabs the blade of the knife and pulls it out by the blade out of his body, and he takes him away. There's a great back cracking scene, like this kid tries to fight Jason. Jason basically pulls him off his shoulder and snaps his back on his knee and just tosses him away like he's garbage. He does a really good, he grabs one of the Marines and takes him down this corridor, by themselves, just two of them, and he slowly twists his head and you hear the wonderful. And then there's some like off-screen kills, which are fine. There's one kill that I really hate though, and it's because it's lame and cartoony, and it's also followed by a stupid-ass fucking pun. A Marine is knocked off a balcony, and he falls on this gigantic screw-looking piece of machinery, and his body literally... I don't have a... There you go. This will work. Okay. Let's pretend Freddy is this Marine. Jason knocks him off the balcony. Down he goes. Here's the screw thing. Boom. And he literally spins down to the end. Too cartoony for me. What makes it worse is when his body is found, one of the Marines says, "I found Joe Blow. How is he?" "He's screwed." It's just shit lines like that fucking piss me off. Overall, the kills are good. There is a really, really cool scene where I'll talk about it after Jason's been modified. Excuse me. I mentioned how KM shot the shit out of him. He gets modified because there's this technology where these little ants can repair any damaged tissue. Like the kid who got his back broken, he gets his arm cut off earlier when they find Jason. Jason's frozen and he falls and cuts off the kid's arm. And they show how the technology is able to reattach and fix the damaged tissue. Foreshadowing, okay? Jason's blown to hell by KM. He falls down on the machine. Of course, some electricity sparks. And it rebuilds the damaged tissue and changes him into Uber Jason. And it's just this really cool, updated, metallic, sci-fi look with the red eyes. He looks fucking badass. And he going from room to room. Another cool sequence. He's going room to room. They shut the doors. He breaks the doors down. Shuts the doors. Breaks the doors down. And they want to buy some time. So they create this hologram of Camp Crystal Lake circa 1980. It's really cool. Jason is back at Camp Crystal Lake. You hear the cawing of the bird, the chirping of the birds, and just the lake, bubbling and everything. Great scene. And then of course Jason sees Sauron. He's a dumbass. And then they come up with an idea, and they get two campers, circa 1980, and all they want to do is smoke pot, have premarital sex. They get naked, and they get in some sleeping bags, and they recreate the sleeping bag kill from Part 7. But sadly, it's kind of lame. It's cool that there's two people, but instead... Now, here's the thing. It would have been cool... How do I say this? We see Jason has one of the girls... okay, I was just making sure I actually hit play. Record. One of the girls in a sleeping bag, he's picking her up, and he's bashing her onto the other girl that's in the sleeping bag below, and then he lifts her up and he throws her against the tree. That would have been badass, except they put in this audio of her just going, ow, 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 ruins it. So some bad choices. God damn. Like I said, the whole Uber Jason thing, I love the look. I love, him going from room to room to room. Great tension building. Harry Manfredini is back with some great score, not just the usual some really just good score, especially in the beginning. I love the beginning sequence, the title sequence, because it looks like, because we just watched Jason Goes to Hell, okay? This is the next film in the continuation. And just the look of it, it looks like we're in hell. And then we see like a knife come through. And you find out Jason is being cut up by all these surgeons. He's being studied. So it's a cool little fake out, and just the way it's shot is just so awesome. Who directed this? Jim Isaac. Really cool. There's a lot of cool sequences. The sequence where he's killing all the government guys and he kills David Cronenberg. Brutal, fast, but cool. And it's Kane Hodder. I love how, because Jason's chained up, okay? And of course, one measly dude is just the guard. And you focus on, Jim Isaac focuses on Jason, and you see his eye moving around. And then he sees the guard, and then he looks at the guard, and then I don't know if you can see it here. He looks at the guard, and he closes the eye, like he's like, I'm gonna fucking get you, buddy. Loved it. The effects didn't look as bad as I thought, as I remembered. It is above Sci-Fi Channel. Maybe it's because I've been watching the Sharknado films, one per year since the last time I watched this, so maybe it did look a lot better because of that. Yeah, Jason X. I'm giving it a big passing grade. I really enjoyed this, man. I forgot it's a new take, which is what I loved about Jason Goes to Hell. It's Jason in a sci-fi setting. Really cool. There are some weird stuff. I mean, the sex scenes are horrible. I mean, when what's-her-face and Shithead are having sex while Jason wakes up, so not over the top, but just like their actions, like her actions, her moaning is just lame, takes you out. And then there's this weird one where Janessa is gonna fuck her teacher, and he's in a woman's teddy, and she's twisting his nipple while he says you passed. It's weird and in there for no reason. It's kind of like the gay dance in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Doesn't need to be in there. But overall, man, I was surprised how much I really enjoyed Jason X. Like I said, overall, I like a lot of the characters that we get to know. The kills overall are really good. The score is good. Kane Hodder is great. The Uber Jason looks awesome. Like I said, I love the red eyes. I like how they brought him back to Crystal Lake, even though the audio from the sleeping bag kill just fucking ruined it. I love the ending. I love how they defeat Jason, which I won't tell, but there's a callback to him being in the lake. makes you like Brodsky even more. Yeah, wow. Sam, if you're watching this from Jackson Reviews, he really enjoys Jason X, and me and him just got to know each other. He hates Jason Goes to Hell, which I love, and then I would always kind of talk shit about Jason X, which he loves. I haven't watched your review of it yet, but I know from our Facebook messaging that you do. You love it. And, dude, I had a lot of fun. Highly, highly recommend Jason X. Doesn't matter that it's in space. I had a fun fucking time. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Click the stupid bell. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Share. What have you. Comment below. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. Whatever. Send in some suggestions, because once I finish all the Jason films, which means Freddy vs. Jason and the remake, and I finish the Freddy films plus the remake, I'm finally getting to requests, which I have Children of the Corn coming out, Little Hercules coming out. My wife and I will be doing some more joint reviews together. So, in the end, I'm going to say cheers and Jason fucking Voorhees. That's what's going on.